the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello and welcome, race fans. We welcome you to the iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products for the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150 here tonight from the USA International Speedway. I'm Justin Kolb, and alongside me in the booth is Greg Rentz. And Greg, why don't you introduce yourself? We know you've been around this league for quite a while.
Yeah, this is the second year of this league. We started it up last off-season as something for our racers up here in the Northwest, mainly Washington, Oregon, Idaho, those states up here. We started it as something for us to do to try to kill time in our off-season, as our off-season is just as long as our racing season. It stops in October and it doesn't start back up to April. So we started this to try to give us a little something extra to do so we stay fresh during the off-season. And then we just decided, hey, you know what, let's see if we how far we can take this thing. And we've got a lot of drivers with interest in racing in this series, and as it shows tonight, we have a huge entry list here at USA International tonight.
Absolutely. I was looking about 45 cars, and just got done with the B main, Greg. Why don't you kind of walk us through on how all this racing is going to work here tonight and the formats we were running?
Well, we started off, like you said, with the B main. We had 60 laps. We took 6 from there with 2 provisionals. 16 drivers were automatically locked in based on qualifying for tonight's Tough Enough to Race Pink 150 lap main event coming your way. 24 cars on deck for us tonight. Top 16 locked in and are inverted based off qualifying time. So the guys who qualified 16th is going to be rolling off on the front row. Then you'll have the 6 cars from the B main, and then the 2 provisionals for 150 laps in tonight's race in honor of breast cancer awareness, the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150.
Yes, sir. And those 6 drivers who are moving on from the B main still have this list up. Donovan Stevens was the winner of that B main. Josh Childress finished 2nd. Bruce Weaver in 3rd. Devin Petty in 4th. Chris Walters in 5th. And Daniel Masters rounded out the field in 6th. So those are the 4 advancing to the A main. 160 laps here tonight. Greg, why don't you give us a little preview on what we should expect?
Expect a lot of good racing from these guys. These are guys who not only race each other on iRacing, these are guys who race each other at your local Saturday night short tracks here in the Northwest every weekend. A lot of these guys race in the same series. So expect a lot of fun racing with these guys. These are guys who spend their weekends and a lot of times in the middle of the week with each other. So these guys know each other very well. They know each other's driving habits, and it's going to be fun to see these guys on the big 3/4 oval USA International here tonight. Going to be fun to watch them for 150 laps.
Absolutely. As we mentioned, this is the iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. And Joe's Racing Products is a manufacturing company that has produced innovative and quality products for the racing industry for more than 28 years. They were established in a small garage in 1989, and Joe has grown the company to a staff of 45 plus employees in a 25,000 square foot facility that is full of state-of-the-art CNC machinery along with several full-time welders. We thank Joe's Racing Products for sponsoring the series here tonight, and I'm sure they're looking forward to a great race that we're about to present to you guys. And it sounds like the A main has just been started, at least the session. As we hop in there, Greg, anything else that we should be looking forward to here tonight?
Nah, just looking forward to a really fun race here tonight. The session, like you said, just popped up, so we're going to hop in there and we'll get set to go racing.
Just got word. Gridding at 10:15 here tonight. 10:50, so in 10 minutes. Some of these guys just fresh off the track, 6 of them. On track at the moment, 16 car there. We get ready to race here tonight. So Greg, I think you mentioned it before, 16 drivers were taken into the A main here tonight from a qualifying session, and then took that list and flipped it upside down, and that's going to be your starting 16 here tonight. A pretty interesting format.
It's going to be fun to watch. We have a lot of drivers that are here for this as we get ready to go racing here. 16 drivers with the invert. They were locked into the A main earlier in the qualifying session. We had a pretty wild B main going on here. We had a lot of comers and goers in that field, but the guy you're going to have to keep an eye on from that B main is the guy who took home the win. Donovan Stevens led every single lap in that B main, so he's going to be one to keep an eye on in this A main as he begins his charge to the front.
Absolutely, and I mean, for the most part, that B main didn't really change the front two very often. It was Donovan Stevens and Bruce Weaver leading it for the most part, so imagine they'll be making their way up towards the front pretty quickly here. Should be a fun one. Be interesting to see. Seeing some of these guys, just saw it there on the screen. It seems like turn 4 has been kind of iffy for these guys here tonight, really off the corners. These cars with a decent amount of power, and it can be pretty daring to get it full throttle off these corners, especially as these tires start to wear. And one special rule about this league, Greg, is we're not changing tires here tonight.
Absolutely. The tires you start on are the tires that you end, and they are going to go to post-race tech to check that out after the race for the top 3 drivers. The top 3 drivers will have to send them their tire wear to make sure that they did indeed stay on the same tires that they started their race on. So keep your eyes on the field to watch maybe for some tire conservation in the early stages of the race, knowing that those are your 4 tires you're going to want to get the job done with if you want to be up there at the end.
Absolutely, and it just makes it that much harder in a way, because normally here on iRacing, you'd be used to getting caution, getting the tires, but I think you mentioned it before, at these local short tracks, you're not getting tires every single caution, so it just adds that much more realism to it, and it adds that much more importance of keeping these tires under you and keeping them all the way for 135 laps.
Final practice session going on now. A couple of guys that you're going to want to keep your eye on in the main event from what we had not seen thus far. Without a doubt, the main guy that everybody's going to be chasing is number 21, Jason Berg. Won almost every single race in the Northwest Tour that he entered last year. Didn't run exactly the full season, but the races that he went on, he was up at the front nearly all of it. He's a Legends driver here in the Northwest, travels around with the Legend cars, but when it comes to iRacing, he's one of the guys you're going to want to keep an eye on. And Jason Berg, he's going to be probably the guy that everybody has picked to win tonight, because in our pre-season driver bios, he was the most common pick for the championship in that 21 car.
All right, so a lot of momentum for that 21. We were seeing just before that on board with a familiar face in the field, 44 Matt Hackthorne in it, and we know he a little earlier, I'm not sure what race it was, but kind of spoiled it a little bit this league, but good to see a familiar face here in the field, at least for me, and obviously Greg is familiar with all these guys, so be fun. 135 laps here tonight.
And you mentioned Hackathorn. Hackathorn actually has kind of become my road trip buddy for major races in the Northwest. It's me and him hopping in his car, and we just take off and head to whatever major race is going on this weekend. But definitely fun to see Hackathorn out there. He's been a guy I consider a really close friend for a few years, so it's good to see him out there. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got. He had a really wicked save in practice last night. He was happy with how he got the car to handle, but keep an eye on him to maybe try to make some moves in the later stages of the race.
Yes, sir. That's seems like, from what I've seen him here on iRacing, that's normally when he seems to strike, towards the later half of the race. So we look forward to that, getting you sort of familiar with some of the names that we should be looking out for. Greg, who's another guy that is probably going to be strong here tonight?
Another one you want to keep your eye on going to be, it's the yellow car with the pink wheels, number 82, Bart Hector Jr. And a little bit of a fun, I won't say a fun side story, but definitely one worth talking about. He is actually fighting cancer right now, and he is still here tonight in the yellow number 82 car tonight, fighting Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he is here, and he locked himself in on qualifying time. So Bart Hector Jr., he's definitely a fighter for sure, and he has a win in the iRacing Northwest Tour, so keep your eye on the number 82 car as well.
Absolutely. Wish him the best of luck here tonight. So, a little quickie practice, as you mentioned, Greg. Got the 42 of Garrett Huffines. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm going to have to learn a lot of these names.
Huffines. Garrett
Huffines.
Huffines. He actually picked up a championship in our touring West Coast Late Model Series championship that runs around the Northwest, hitting tracks in Washington and Oregon. Huffines picking up his first 2 career late model wins and the championship to go with it earlier this year. He's just 1/1000th of a second quicker than Scott Mann in the number 90, so very identical lap times for the 42 and the 90 right now.
Absolutely. For the most part, it seems like a lot of these guys are pretty close up and down the board. Looks like top 4 up there in the 20.3s, and then for the most part, the rest from down in the 24 or 20.4s, but really close up and down the board.
Another one I'm going to want to keep an eye on is Garrett's younger brother, Dylan, in the number 7, currently tracking 5th right now. Dylan, he ran with us a little bit last season, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with a full season under his belt. We'll see what Dylan Huffines can do in the number 7, currently tracking 5th right now.
So it's looking like about 3 minutes left until we get ready to start the A main here tonight. Once again, we mentioned 135 laps, and I believe it's after an hour and 55 minutes, whichever comes first, but I imagine that we're going to be seeing that lap count come first. So
as we continue to watch the final moments of practice, Josh Childress with a big bobble finished second in the B main, and he has gone around in the number 77. He comes sliding to a stop, so hopefully that doesn't happen in the main event for Josh Childress. Finished second in the B main, using a charge up in the late stages to get around Bruce Weaver for the 2nd spot. Josh Childress, he's going to hopefully be able to have that sorted out by the time this A main rolls in.
got it really wide through 3 and 4, and obviously that's where most of the marbles are going to be sent here tonight, and really going to be wanting to stay towards that bottom. May see a couple guys just get up a slight bit and try and get that run off the corner. See how much these guys will differ in their lines here tonight, but for the most part it was kind of just get around the white line from the B main from what I saw.
A lot of guys like the bottom in that B main. We saw most times on restarts about the top 10 would always fall single file, and then the jockeying for position would happen deep in the field. But we really only got 1 or 2 real long runs, but a lot of problems on restarts, especially on exits of turns, is where we saw a lot of problems, not just in the B main, but that's where we've been seeing problems in practice all week long, is on exit of the turns here at USA International.
I think for the most part that just comes from it being so easy, as Josh Childress has another issue exiting pit road, but it's just so easy to want to get the power down off corner exit, and obviously car doesn't want to quite handle that, and it's going to loop around. And I don't think we saw too much of that in the B main, but as you mentioned, saw some of that in practice, and just a little bit earlier, I believe it was practice before the B main.
And it hasn't really been one specific turn either. It was really in turn 4 and turn 2, as we just saw another one happen. Todd Connell getting loose off turn number 4 that time by. So the exits of the turns have really been the story so far. A lot of guys are going to be kind of taking it easy, I believe, here in the early stages, trying to make sure that their car is going to cooperate on exit, because we have seen a lot of problems this week so far.
I have to imagine they're just seeing how far they can push it before we take the green here tonight. Always a good idea. Test the limits before we take the flag that matters. So should be interesting to see how these. Oh, yep. And before we go green here tonight, I'm gonna present you with the national anthem. This is U.S. Marine Band playing our national anthem there as practice is over. Ready to take the grid here tonight, and it will be Christopher Heim on the front row on the pole position here tonight, with Andy Fuller going to be starting second next to him. James Paulson going to start in the third position tonight. Garrett Huffines going to start in fourth. Vernon Margheim going to start just in the top five. Dylan Huffines going to start just outside in the sixth position. William Weber going to start seventh. Mathew Kingsbury going to start eighth. Bart Hector Jr. ninth. And Seth Fraser going to round out your top 10 as we send it to Greg.
Scott Mann going to roll off in 11th. Sean Breitzman, the midget driver here in the Northwest, rolling off 12th. It's Ramathorn, Matt Hackathorn rolling off lucky 13. Travis McKinney in the number 48. Ryan Worley, the number 15. The guy you got to keep your eye on, fast time, Jason Berg. He's rolling off 16th tonight. B-main winner, Donovan Stevens. With Josh Childress, Bruce Lee Weaver, and Devin Petty rounding out the top 20. Justin, who's filling in the rest?
Got Chris Walter starting 21st here tonight. Daniel Masters, starting 22nd. BJ Tidrick going to start 23rd, and Todd Connell going to start 24th.
So Connell getting the other provisional, and that one, BJ Tidrick getting the first provisional. Connell going to pick up the other one in the 0-2 to fill out the field tonight.
There are 24-car field here tonight, 135 laps. Should be a fun one. B-main was interesting, and this one should be that much better. Full field and ready to rock here at the USA International Speedway under the lights here tonight. 2 pace lap track here tonight. They've already taken one, so the pace car going to dive down into pit road now. And the 51 of Christopher Heim going to lead him off here. Waiting for the green, waiting. And there's the green flag, and we are away here tonight for the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150.
Good start here by your leader, Heim, as he's able to clear off turn number 2 as the field kind of spreads out a little bit mid-pack, but the top 2, Heim and Fuller, starting to break away as they roll through 3 and 4.
Ooh, some contact in the back of the field. The 90 of Scott Mann and Matt Hackthorne, I believe, made some contact. Now even more back there with the 15 of Ryan Worley. They all get it straightened out, it appears, and we'll keep on going straight, thankfully.
Good job by those guys to keep it all pointed straight here. Long race early on in this one as we try to get some laps in. This is a problem we saw in the B-main. A lot of action in the early stages, and it was causing a lot of yellows, but a battle breaking out for the lead here is Fuller taking a peek to the inside of Christopher Heim.
Couldn't quite get it off 2. See if he can get in there into 3, and it looks like it'll be the 42 of Garrett Huffines going to be trying to challenge for that second spot now.
And keep your eye on that 42 of Huffines. He was really, really strong, not just in iRacing practice, but he was strong this season just behind the wheel of a race car, period. He's hoping that his momentum from his West Coast Late Model Series Championship can transfer over here to the iRacing.com Northwest Tour. Running in third right now and all over the back of Fuller. Here's his move to the bottom.
I was going to say, he really drove it into turn 3 and just about got to the 16's rear bumper. Watch again as we enter turn 3. See how deep he goes this time. Pretty aggressive early on, as we mentioned before. Can't take tires at the end of this. Is he possibly pushing too early?
He's opened up a little bit of a gap over James Paulson in the 4th spot, and then the rest of the field kind of hanging tight with each other right now. But Christopher Heim has opened up a 0.6 of a second lead over this battle for second between Fuller and Huffines.
Field really nose to tail all the way back. Got the 7 of Dylan Huffines underneath. Now the 33 of Vernon. Going to try and make a move.
Up front, his older brother, Garrett, making the move for second. This is his move, and the yellow is out.
Like the 24, Chris Walters involved in an incident here as we go to the replay. Oh, I think it may have been another case of just a loose off corner number 4 and a pretty hard hit into the front stretch wall, as it looks like he blinked out after that, unfortunately. I believe this is entering turn number 3. Yes, it is. And see if he just loses the rear end. I was going to say, I think there was some contact there with the 36. We have our first caution pretty early here tonight, lap number 7.
Tough break for Chris Walters. Top 5 right now is Christopher Heim leading the way. He's led all 9 laps thus far. Garrett Huffines making the move up into the 2nd spot. Andy Fuller falls to 3rd. James Paulson and Vernon Margheim rounding out the top 5. We go to break. 9 laps in the books here in the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150.
We welcome you back to the USA International Speedway for the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150 here tonight. 1 to go. We're going to get set to go back green flag racing this time as Greg Rentz will call you down here for this first restart.
Yeah, well, a couple updates to have for you on the yellow. Both Bruce Lee Weaver and Todd Connell have both been given penalties. The Northwest Tour has a Tapout Rule, but we'll have to give more of an explanation on that here in just a little bit as pace car is in. Corey Heim leads him to the green. Garrett Huffines moves outside.
A good start by that 54 Christopher Heim. 42 will fall in just behind in second. Still side-by-side racing for most of the way back there.
Top 4 single file, then the Hornet's Nest behind them.
I was going to say, that didn't think... Yeah, that went 3 wide for a second with Scott Mann in the 90.
Yeah, Mann came up about an inch and a half away from the wall. Did a good job to hang on to it. As Garrett Huffines now taking a peek to the inside of Christopher Heim for the lead. And meanwhile, his younger brother Dylan making some moves as well, trying to get around Margheim.
Side by side down the front straightaway between Christopher and Garrett. It'll be the 42 with the advantage on that bottom line. See if Christopher can fight back on that outside, and he does. Good momentum down the back straightaway.
Boy, Heim really making that outside lane work on exit, but right there through the center and on entry is where Garrett Huffines is so strong here in the early stages. Has the nose in front this time. Into turn number 1, Garrett Huffines led the lap. We'll see if he's able to clear. He will off turn number 2. Garrett Huffines leads the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150.
Christopher almost looked like he wanted to cross under there. The 7 of Dylan Huffines will get underneath the 80 of James Paulson just behind that battle for the lead. Move the 7 of Dylan Huffines into the 4th spot, moving his way up.
So Huffines, the younger brother of Garrett, Dylan making moves. Keep your eye on the number 2, Seth Fraser as well. He's making his way to the front. He is up into the 8th spot right now. Fraser, he was the driving force in bringing this series together. He sits 8th right now, slowly but surely making his way through the field up to 7th. Or actually, correction, I stand looking at the wrong number. He still is in 8th right now, plus 2 spots so far.
Look like a little loose off corner number 2 as the 48, little connection issue there, but those are the 2 side-by-side battles so far through the field. Up towards the front as the 15 of Ryan Worley took advantage of the 48 with his connection issues there, and they'll still fight off corner number 2. We have a fight for 3rd. Dylan Huffines completes the pass on the 16 of Andy Fuller, so that'll move his self into the 3rd spot as he looks towards the lead with Garrett Huffines, his brother, up there, and Christopher Heim.
Yeah, Heim, the meat and the Huffines sandwich, and something happened to Heim there on exit of that corner. That allows Dylan Huffines to get the spot, and Andy Fuller coming as well. Problems for the 51, keeping it down on the bottom. He was stuck on the outside, and that allowed Huffines to get the spot. The Huffines brothers, 1-2 now.
I think that was the issue we keep talking about, just problems off the corner. It looked like he got the power down maybe a little too quick, got it loose, and 2 cars just about were able to take advantage. 16 wasn't quite able to, but definitely closed up the gap.
Now Heim able to settle it down through 3 and 4 that time, but still taking a little bit of a higher line, not as high through 1 and 2, but he's now beginning to reel back in on the 7 of Dylan Huffines. We'll see if he can get up there and contend with the Huffines brothers. Meanwhile, back around mid-pack, a battle breaking out.
Yes,
for
sir.
the 5th spot.
Vernon Margheim and James Paulson battling it out there. It looks like James, thought he was going to be able to clear it, but here comes the 33. You're right back at him with that preferred inside line.
There's still side-by-side, only one other side-by-side battle right now going on. It's Paulson on the outside in the 80, Margheim in the 33 on the bottom, and don't look now, here comes Seth Fraser in the number 2, the street stock champion. In the number 2, knows his way around a street stock race, but doing really good in the iRacing Tour, and here he is battling up there, trying to break into the top 5 as he's going to try to follow Margheim through. Gives him a little bit of a love tap in the middle of the turn that allowed Paulson to clear him off the turn.
And instantly the 15 tried to get inside Ryan Worley as that checked everybody up behind him. They were battling side by side, and boy, did Ryan Worley get the advantage on that. Moved up a couple positions because of it.
And don't look now, but here comes Jason Berg. Fast time, number 21. He is caught up to this battle as well. Started 16th. He just broke into the top 10. He is +6 as he makes his way to the front so far.
98, Mathew Kingsbury, and the 15 of Ryan Worley fighting side by side. It's really the first battle we see on the racetrack back here. Everybody else still nose to tail relatively through the field.
Kingsbury able to clear Worley through 3 and 4 at that time. Still single file. Battle all the way back there until Scott Mann. And how about Donovan Stevens making his way up? He was in the B main. He's in 12th now. Battling it out with Josh Childress as Childress is able to get the spot. And I was speaking with Donovan a little bit after the B main, before the A main. He said he was sweating bullets knowing that 77 was coming. He said he was happy the race ended when he did because he thought for sure Childress was going to have something.
Oh, contact! The 5 goes around.
Goes the 5. Contact between Donovan Stevens and Devin Petty. And around goes the B main winner, Donovan Stevens. Everybody avoids him. Great job by the rest of the field. Not sure what happened there. I'm not sure if Stevens might have checked up or what happened.
It almost looked like the 12 kind of sailed it in there a little faster than maybe Donovan was expecting. Take another look at it here on the replay. Either way, it doesn't look like a huge amount of damage to the 5. This is on board with him, Donovan Stevens in the 5. Look at it both ways there. Either the 12 got his nose in there, or the 5 just kind of came down on him. Either way, just sort of a racing incident there.
So a tough break for the B main winner, Donovan Stevens. Started 17th, had gotten up to 12th, was battling with Josh Childress, and around he went. It's still Garrett Huffines leading the way from the 4th starting spot. His younger brother Dylan in an identical car to him in 2nd. Christopher Heim, the early race leader. Andy Fuller, James Paulson round out the top 5.
So what?
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
We're
bring him in.
Hey, welcome back to USA International Speedway, the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150. A quick update as we are 1 to green before we head back racing. Devin Petty has been sent to the back as a result of the contact between him and Donovan Stevens. You have a tap-out rule in the Northwest Tour. If you feel that you are involved, you can say that and elect to fall to the back on that one. You're allowed to. Devin Petty has used up his first one, but here we go. The Huffines brothers going to lead him to green. Garrett on the inside, Dylan on the outside. We're racing at USA.
Good start for most of that top 5. Instantly, the 7 pulled in just behind his brother there in the 42.
Car around mid-pack.
2 in the 21. Or at least a 2 in the grasser. No caution. They all looks like they saved it. I thought I heard someone go around, but
yeah, Seth Fraser.
Here's the replay.
Went around in the number 2, hung on to it, and he gets hit again. Actually, he was the one who made the contact there with someone. I believe that was the 0-2 of Connell that he made contact with, but we stay green up front. Checking in with the race leaders, it's still Garrett Huffines leading the way over his brother Dylan, with Heim still rounding it out in 3rd.
Looked like that initial contact was the 80, a little checkup there, and the 2 and the 21 got together because of it, and all saved it, thankfully.
Heim taking a peek now to the outside of Dylan Huffines, but lost a lot of ground there on the exit of that turn. He took a peek to the high side. Now he's trying to reel the number 7 of Huffines back in, but don't look now. Andy Fuller's there as well. He's putting pressure on the 51 to try to break onto the podium.
Got our first side-by-side battle just behind. 15 of Ryan Worley actually was able to make the pass on the 80 of James Paulson. Now it's him and Josh Childress going at it. That is for the 8th spot just behind this battle.
And keep in mind, Josh Childress was in the B main of this one, and he has broken into the top 10. He's up to 8th right now. He has gained 10 positions from his 8th starting position, or 18th starting position now. Josh Childress making his way to the front still relatively early, just 38 laps in the book. And Josh Childress is a man on the move right now in the 77.
Absolutely. Definitely showing that he has a good race car. Already in the top 10 and should be in the top 5 before too long here. The 28 now, William Weber, and the 80 of James Paulson go at it.
Still at the only side-by-side battle on the track right now. And the 28 of Weber will clear Paulson. And Paulson started in the 3rd spot. He is now back in 10th. So Paulson going the wrong way right now in the number 80, as he is in danger of falling outside the top 10 if Scott Mann can get to his back bumper.
It almost looked like something happened with that 16 of Andy Fuller. It looked like it checked up the 33 of Vernon, and 98 of Mathew Kingsbury was almost able to take advantage of that, but it looked like everything settled down there.
About 0.4 of a second difference now between Heim and Fuller, and it has grown to 0.6 of a second now, so something happened to the 16 of Fuller. We go yellow.
The 90 looks like of Scott Mann got turned around. Not quite sure what caused that one as we take a look at the replay here. So just got turned by the 3, it looked like. I'm not sure if the 3 of Daniel Masters had the nose in there and thought Scott would see it, or if any word was given there from the iRacing spotter, but like
Daniel Masters has been given the penalty, so he will fall to the back in the number 3 as a result of the contact with Scott Mann. They were battling for the 11th position. That will move Sean Brightsman in 11th with Ramathorn, Matt Hackathorn in 12th. The other guy we're keeping an eye on, and another guy who's plus 10, BJ Tidrick, the number 72, now in the 13th spot.
It was a car that was 3rd place for the most part throughout that entire B main. Got caught up in some unfortunate circumstances late in that one, but trying to work his way up to the field here. All right, well.
So don't forget the rule on the contact is we have the tap out rule. If you are involved and if you are the start, you are basically required to own up and say, hey, that was me. If you do not and no one owns up to it, it goes to the review committee, which is 5 drivers in the field. They review the video incident and they determine who was at fault, and the penalties are handed down at their judgment. That is how the tap out rule works. As Daniel Masters, he must have owned up to it as he has fallen to the back.
I think we explained it a little earlier, Greg, but now that we're 44 laps into the books here tonight, maybe go a little bit more in depth on the tire rule and why we have that in play.
Yeah, we want this series to be as close to your local Saturday night race as possible. In most races that these guys race during the racing season at our local tracks here in the Northwest, they're on the same 4 tires that they start on. So we kept that rule the same in order to keep this as close to their actual racing as possible. Same 4 tires you start on, so you're not allowed to change tires when you pit. Top 3 drivers have to send their tire wear into the series officials after the race. That's our version of tech here in the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, and so that's how the tire rule works. Have to stay on the same 4. Top 3 send a screenshot of their tire wear to the officials to determine that it is the same 4 tires that they started on. We're getting set to go green, Justin.
Yes, sir, we are, and it'll be the Huffines brothers on the front row. Garrett and Dylan will lead them down to the green flag. Pace car is off. Oh, man, that 42 got a great jump there. Not sure if anything will be called on that, but instantly about a 0.5 of a second gap there as they start to close in.
We will see what the officials determine on that one. Garrett Huffines with a big jump on his younger brother Dylan, already out to half a second. Battle for third, though, is Andy Fuller to the outside of Christopher Heim, hanging tough right now in that number 16, but it's Huffines leading the way so far.
And just behind the 33 of Vernon Margheim, just about contact with Mathew Kingsbury, but they all get that worked out. That's your first side-by-side battle, the 15 of Ryan Worley trying to get in the middle of that mix.
And up in front of that, Fuller has cleared. Christopher Heim moved Fuller onto the podium. Now he's going to take his shot at the Huffines brothers. Contact in the back. That's Josh Childress moving up the track.
Got contact with the 28 there, William Weber. That shot him up the track, and he did a great job of saving that car. Lost about 2 positions, possibly 3. Should we see Matt Hackathorn get by? Oh, he's really loose off turn 4. Gets the wall a little bit.
And Hackathorn gets the spot in the 44. That moves Hackathorn into the top 10. Childress, who is moving through the field, is now right back outside the top 10. He sits 11th right now. Gets the car settled back down. We'll see if Josh Childress can make moves and try to make his way back up to the front.
There was one car that was just about in the marbles, it looked like. I believe that was the 7-2 of BJ Tidrick just behind this battle. Almost looked like they were 3 wide, and this is not normally the track that you take that many cars wide on.
Another car slid up the track, trying to get a correct identity on who that is on the outside up there. Can't tell who that is on the outside. believe it's the 80 of James Paulson that's stuck on the outside as he finally gets it settled back down.
Trying to fight with the 48 now, and it looks like he'll get a spot. Nope, looks like the 21 of Jason Berg gonna shut that door as well.
And Jason Berg, he's trying to make his way back up. He was already broken into the top 10 after setting fast time. 16-car invert. He had to start 16th, had broken into the top 10, but some contact with Seth Fraser, and around went Jason Berg, and they both have had to fight their way back through the field in the 21 and the 2 respectively, trying to make their way up through the field, keeping an eye on 21 of Berg and 2 of Fraser, two guys who were probably listed by most of the competition as probably 2 of the favorites to win tonight.
I'm not going to let that one go unnoticed. The 36 of Bruce Weaver got a pretty good shot from the 21 of Jason Berg there and almost went around. Did an amazing job of saving it. Oh, and contact around the 5 of Donovan Stevens once again. And the 12, I believe, hard into the wall in the back straightaway.
Not sure what happened there between the 5 and the 12.
Taking a look at the replay here. Oh, a bump from the 82 sent the 5 of Donovan Stevens around, and it looks like the 12. I'm not sure if the 12 made contact, but it almost looked like. Take another look at that. This is on board with the 82. So there might have been a little check up there, a little contact with the 5, and then, oh, yep, really got the 12 there. Sends them around.
Well, Bart Hector Jr. in the number 82 has been sent to the back as he has tapped out to that one. Bart Hector Jr. sent to the back for the penalty. You are allowed to, Hector, with this first. If anyone who has already gotten one gets a second one, they are parked and disqualified for the rest of the race. Still the Huffines brothers up front. Garrett leading the way in the 42. His younger brother Dylan in second. Fuller, Matt Kingsbury up into the 4th spot now. Christopher Heim, the early leader, rounds out the top 5.
All right, well, yeah, just saw it myself that unfortunately LA has been defeated for the 2nd year in a row, and Boston Red Sox are your 2018 World Series champions, so congratulations to them. Why don't we bring in the race leader here, Garrett, or Greg, you have Garrett Huffines.
All right, Garrett Huffines, Greg Rentz up in the tower. Do you have a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, Garrett, you're looking a lot like you did on the track earlier this season, getting out front early. Looks like you're carrying some momentum from that West Coast Late Model Championship over to this one, leading the way. You've got your younger brother Dylan behind you. How does it feel right now with you and your younger brother leading the way here in the season opener?
It feels pretty good. Just trying to conserve and save the cars right now, not tear them up. Hopefully we could stay away from everyone.
All right, Garrett, you're closing in a little bit prior to halfway here. You got the lead early on from Christopher Heim, doing a good job hanging tough with your brother. Is there any spot on the track you feel like your younger brother is better than you, or do you feel like you've got a pretty good grip on him right now?
It's hard to tell right now. I would pull away some laps and then he'd gain, so I don't really know.
All right, Garrett, we'll let you go. He's keeping the lead right now. Garrett Huffines leading the way right now in the number 42.
All right, well, thinking we're going to get one to go this time with how quickly these laps have been winding down. So it will be Garrett Huffines. Just talk to him. Going to be up front again. Going to look for one of those amazing restarts again. Nothing was called, it appeared, on that restart. So his brother Dylan Huffines will start next to him in second. Andy Fuller third. Mathew Kingsbury in fourth. And the 51 of Christopher Heim will restart in fifth.
Rounding out the rest of the top 10, Ryan Worley. He's making his way through the field from his 15th starting spot, qualified second. William Weber, Sean Breitzman up into the top 10. Matt Hackathorn and Vernon Margheim rounding out the top 10.
All right, looking for the pace car pulling in here. It is off. As these guys get ready for the green once again. 42, not quite the same restart as last time, but another good one as he is on it and in front of his brother there as they go into turn 1.
Kingsbury got to the 3rd spot as he made the outside lane work. Into the car number 98. Now he's taking a peek to the inside of Dylan for a second. Matt Kingsbury looks like he may have decided it was time to go and maybe challenge Huffines and see what he's got in the later stages.
51 of the 15 of Ryan Worley, making it past the 16 of Andy Fuller. Christopher almost made that gap in there, and they'll be side by side with Sean Breitzman in 6th.
Boy, Andy Fuller restarted in the 3rd spot and has fallen now a couple of spots down, now in 5th place and getting pressure from the 46 of Breitzman and the 28 of Weber. So Andy Fuller, he was starting to make his moves up there and try to contend with the Huffines brothers, but now in danger of falling outside the top 5. Looks like he's got the 16 car settled down, however, though.
51 had fallen just about all the way to the back there. Not quite sure what happened, but lost a lot of spots on that front straightaway last time by and getting bullied a little bit by the 48 back there.
And Jason Berg got around him, so Berg in the 21 making moves. Actually, forgive me, that's Seth Fraser directly in front of him. Berg a spot ahead of him as well in the number 21. So Heim, he started in the top 5 back to 13th and struggling right now.
Yep, that is the battle for second. Mathew Kingsbury and Dylan Huffines going at it there. Dylan with the preferred line, just about lost it. An amazing save off corner number 4 as Kingsbury stayed just about even with him down the front stretch.
Good battle right now. Huffines cannot quite clear him off turn number 2 that time. That allows Kingsbury to get the run on the outside. Don't look now as they're battling. They're catching the 42 of Garrett Huffines. Normally, when there's a side-by-side battle like that, you see the leader pull away. That does not seem to be the case this time as they are hanging tough with Garrett right now. Kingsbury had it at the line.
And normally you'd think that car on the inside has the advantage, but the 98 of Mathew Kingsbury makes it look easy around that high side, takes the position away from car number 7, and now just about 2 car lengths away from your leader, Garrett Huffines.
Dylan Huffines not out of the woods yet, though, because here comes Ryan Worley in the number 15, taking a peek to the bottom of car number 7. Worley coming all the way from the 15th starting spot inside the top 5 now, trying to break onto the podium. He puts the pressure on Dylan Huffines as Garrett Huffines continues to hold about a car length and a half lead over Kingsbury.
I thought he was going to be able to make the move a couple times into turn number 1, but just behind the 7, looking for another mistake out of Dylan there as he enters a little bit high. Maybe try and dime it in the corner here and see what kind of run he gets down the front straightaway.
Noticed Kingsbury as he battles for the lead. He takes a little bit of a higher entry that time, but the previous turn there we see it. Huffines kind of sliding up the track a little bit. That's given Kingsbury the inside line off turn number or off exit, but he is really like the way the outside lane works, so we'll see what Kingsbury can do as soon as he catches up to Garrett Huffines, because here comes the 98.
Absolutely, been working on him for a few laps now, and this is probably the closest he's going to get right here. Half a car length between them as they go into turn number 3, see if Mathew Kingsbury can get anything done down this front straightaway.
Boy, he is closing in. Garrett Huffines has got to be feeling the heat now. But he did a good job on exit there to pull away from the 98 and open up a little bit of a gap. 0.2 of a second, the gap at the line, as Garrett Huffines trying to pull back away from Matt Kingsbury. We'll see what the 42 can do as Kingsbury again taking a little bit of a higher line. But Huffines kind of slid up the track in the apex of the turn, and that allows Kingsbury to get the run on the bottom. Took a peek inside, but not yet.
As that battle for the lead goes on, just want to give a mention to Matt Hackthorne slowly working his way up into the top 5. Just got around the 46 of Sean Breitzman around the outside and currently hunting down the 16 of Andy Fuller for that top 5 position.
And Hackathorn slowly making his way up to the back bumper of Fuller. No change in the battle up front between Huffines and Kingsbury, but Kingsbury got a great run on Huffines that time by, and he's going to take the lead in turn number 3.
See if the 42 can come back at him. Not quite out of corner number 4. So Mathew Kingsbury will take over your race lead. Now it'll be Garrett Huffines, who has to go on the offensive and just about got into the rear bumper of the 98. A little tap.
Huffines not going away as Kingsbury made the inside lane work down the backstretch into turn number 3 that time. Huffines thinking inside as well into number 42 as he's trying to get back to the lead. As Mathew Kingsbury leads the Tough Enough to Drive Pink 150. 75 in the books. A little bit past halfway. 135 lap main event here tonight. And right now it's all Kingsbury up front as now he pulls away from the Huffines brothers.
I'm telling you, Garrett Huffines, not letting him go too easy. Really gets close to him, middle of the corner, but it looks like Mathew Kingsbury, that's where he's going to get all his momentum, his corner off, and he really pulls him down the straightaways.
As that battle rages on, another battle really getting hot and heavy back here for the 9th position between William Weber into number 28, Josh Childress in the 77. Weber has cleared him for the time being, but those two were side by side for about 5 laps or so as Childress again gets a run on the inside, but he gets loose. And can he hang on to it? No, around goes Childress into number 77.
Everybody does a good job on missing him. We'll get it turned around and pointed the right direction. See what happened here on the replay. And just got loose off that corner number 2. All right, well, Mathew Kingsbury, your new leader here at the USA International Speedway. Garrett Huffines in 2nd. Brother Dylan Huffines in 3rd. Ryan Worley 4th. And Andy Fuller 5th. Going to step away for a quick break. Don't go away.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Back at USA International Speedway, the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150. Starting to get into the closing stages of this one. Mathew Kingsbury leading the way with Garrett and Dylan Huffines 2nd and 3rd, with Ryan Worley and Andy Fuller rounding out the top 5. But Justin, Matt Hackathorn was right there to the door of Fuller at the time that caution came out.
Yes, sir. Should that caution not have come out, saw just a little bit on the camera, Matt Hackathorn was putting up a pretty good bid to get by the 16 of Andy Fuller. for that top 5, and still not quite done with it yet. Just about to sneak into that top 5, see what he can do on this restart.
All right, we keep our eyes on the 98 and the 42. Huffines had great restarts, but he was the control car the last few. He's not the control car this time. That's the 98 of Kingsbury. Let's see what difference that plays as we roll through. We are green flag, and a great start by Kingsbury as he pulls about 4 car lengths ahead of Huffines as they roll into the turn number 1. As the battle breaks out for 5th, like you mentioned, Hackathorn trying to make the outside work as Kingsbury clears by quite a few lengths.
Holy cow, Ryan Worley, a great run off corner number 2. Gonna take the second spot away from Garrett Huffines, just about put him in the wall a little bit, but move that 15 from about 4th place all the way up to 2nd.
He got both Huffines brothers in one shot there. Did Ryan Worley. He is now sitting where he qualified, 2nd place. Hackathorn has cleared Fuller, now going to work on Dylan Huffines into number 7. Hackathorn in the top 5, trying to move up into the top 4.
Seeing a lot more guys as the race has gone longer and longer into the night be able to work that outside line and complete the passes up there. Seems like that middle groove, a little bit higher from the bottom, starting to come into play here.
Speaking of outside line, the 21 fast time Jason Berg, he caught the outside wall a little bit coming down this straightaway right here the time before. Doesn't catch it this time, but Jason Berg did smack the wall just a little bit going down the straightaway. Hung on to it, doing a good job right now. It doesn't look like it slowed him down any, but Berg did hit the wall in the 21.
Got word that the 12 of Dylan Petty has DNF'd here tonight, and as you mentioned, Jason Berg a position away from cracking into that top 5. He's got a fast car, just has to get some more track position to show it.
Trying to reel in Matt Hackathorn now. He's made that outside lane work, has the 21 of Jason Berg. He's moved up about 4 spots since that restart. But look at the lead Kingsbury has opened up now over Ryan Worley, up to 0.7 of a second, as Kingsbury beginning to stretch a little bit here, showing what he's got here in the later stages.
He restarted to get up and get gone, and that's exactly what he's done. Pulled away just about 0.7 over the 15 of Ryan Worley there, and Garrett Huffines trying to build a run up to that 2nd spot as Hackathorn and Huffines going at it there for the 4th spot.
Oh, Dylan got really loose
real
there.
loose.
Contact between the 44 and the 7. That allows Berg to shoot by on the outside and get both. Great move by Jason Berg, and great heads up by him to get both of them. And now Dylan Huffines in trouble as Fuller and Brightsman get around him on the outside as well.
Here's a replay of what happened. The 7 just simply got loose off corner number 2, and Hackathorn couldn't get slowed up enough to not get into him. But what an amazing job by Dylan Huffines to save that car. Could have been a lot worse, as he just loses a few spots back to 6th now and under attack by the 46 of Sean Brightsman.
Yeah, Huffines was able to get back around the 46 of Brightsman and then get back around the 16 of Fuller. Brought Brightsman with him, so Huffines getting it settled down now. Started 6th, currently rolling in the 6th spot, trying to catch back up to Hackathorn and see what he can do. But how about Jason Berg? He spun around, he got the wall, and now he's up in the 4th position right now.
An amazing drive for that 21. Has a little bit of work to do to catch up to that 42 of Garrett Huffines, who's just about half a car length to a car length away from that 2nd place of Ryan Worley, as everyone just kind of single file for the moment. Looks like everyone's just trying to get around.
Leader Mathew Kingsbury just trying to wind some laps down. Got my tongue tied a little bit there, but he's opened up a 0.9 of a second lead over Ryan Worley now. Good battle going on between Worley and Huffines for the 2nd spot, but Huffines, after leading a good chunk of the middle portion of the race, now beginning to lose touch a little bit with the 15 of Worley as they try to get up there.
Yeah, just looking through this pack, it looks like the 7 of Dylan Huffines is kind of sitting squarely in the 6th position at the moment. The battle kind of behind him. Sean Brightsman and Andy Fuller been going at it for the past couple of laps, as Fuller hasn't been able to get by, but has definitely been applying the pressure.
And Brightsman also took a peek inside of Dylan Huffines that time by coming off turn number 4. Again, thinking bottom, but Huffines able to shut the door. Here comes Fuller with a little bit of a run to the inside. This Brightsman bobbled in the apex. Still single file right now, but does not look like it'll stay that way for much longer as they are really beginning to close in on that 7 of Huffines. Here comes Brightsman with a run down the front stretch into turn number 1.
A great run he got. Will he be able to keep the nose inside as we exit corner number 2? He will, but I believe the 7 going to have the run off, and he does. So the 46 of Sean Brightsman going to have to try once again off corner number 4 as they head down into 1.
Seth Fraser beginning to creep up into that picture as well, as Fuller has lost touch with Brightsman, now begins to fall into the clutches of Fraser in the number 2. Fraser, another one who got caught up in an incident earlier in the day, back up into the 9th spot right now as the laps wind down. Just 37 to go in this one.
Got a battle for 10th, the 33 and the 48 going at it. 48 having a little bit of connection issues still, but he's going to get the move inside Vernon there. Can he complete the pass? He's going to be dead even with him. Oh, and contact! The 33 hard into the wall. No caution, I don't believe, will be called as he did not go around and turned around. Hard contact, the 51 of Christopher Heim.
Boy, nowhere for Heim to go in the 51, and he almost got hit again there as he tried to get that 51 going. Nowhere to go as the 33 of Margheim was fighting that thing, trying to keep it off the wall. Heim checked up, and there's a hornet's nest behind him, and he got ran over.
Just saw the replay there. Unfortunately, like you said, nowhere for the 51 to go there, and don't see, well, a decent amount of damage on that 51. Might just be aero, or see if he has any suspension damage to go along with that.
Definitely a lot of cosmetic damage on the 51, primarily around on the left side of the car as he pulls into the pits in that number 51 car. A lot of damage to the left side of Christopher Heim.
Well, 35 laps to go here tonight. That 98 of Mathew Kingsbury certainly restarted like he wanted to finish the race out like that. Had a second lead over the 15 of Ryan Worley, who was in second. Garrett Huffines third. Jason Berg in fourth. And Matt Hackthorne rounds out the top 5.
Dylan Huffines. Huffines rounds out the 6th position with Sean Brightsman, Andy Fuller, Seth Fraser, Travis McKinney up into the 10th spot now.
Got the 98 of Matt Kingsbury in here. Matt, you got a copy?
I do.
All right, well, an amazing restart by you. Pulled away to a second over that 15, and I'm sure that caution's not quite what you wanted there, but looking like you got a strong race car there.
Yeah, I hope so. Jason's going to be tough. I definitely was keeping an eye on our gap there to see how he was closing. It looked like he was maybe closing a bit, so it might get pretty interesting here if he can get by those guys.
Absolutely. Closing down to it. Probably going to restart with about 32, 31 laps to go. What do you got to do on this restart?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get another good jump like that. Didn't do any tricks or anything, just try to pace the field down to the line and just try to get a good jump, and then honestly just try to save the right rear.
All right, well, wish you the best of luck here for the rest of this race as you'll be restarting on that front row. Best of luck. That was the 98. Mathew Kingsbury there. All right, why don't we bring in Matt Hackthorne? Greg Wrench, you got him.
Hey, Rammer, it's Rents up in the tower. You got me?
Oh, heck yeah, buddy. What's up?
Hey, you've done a pretty good job making your way through the field. You're sitting in the top 5 right now. You've been having a good battle trying to get up there. Now you sit in the top 5 closing stages. You have anything for these guys here in the late stages?
Maybe now that my tires are cooled off. Was definitely a pain with that invert. Working my way up and down and getting caught up on all that stuff. But it's going to be interesting. I'm going to try to follow Jason through. He's really, really good in these. We'll see what happens, man. Anything can happen in short track racing. That's what I love about it.
All right, man. Gator did, and let's see what you got here in the closing stages.
Hopefully I have an interview after.
That was Matt Hackthorne in the number 44, sitting in the 5th position right now. But the lights are out on the pace car. Kingsbury is going to lead him to the green. Ryan Worley, he did a great job on that last restart to make his way through the field and get through the Huffines brothers into the second spot. Let's see what he's got for Kingsbury as the pace car pulls in. Coming to 30 laps to go at the line. We're green and problems for Garrett Huffines on the start, Justin.
A big checkup there, and Matt Hackthorne may have gotten the worst of that. Lost a few positions there on the restart. They're 3 wide. There goes the 48 around. Contact with the 2, and that will bring out another caution.
Cautions breed cautions in short track racing, and that was another textbook case of it.
And really all that got messed up by that initial start. I'm not sure if the 98 checked the 42 up and caused all that, but either way, they got 3 wide there into turn 1, and that's not always going to work here on the short tracks. Contact there with the 2. And unfortunately, the 48, Travis McKinney, went around.
And Seth Fraser has been sent to the back for his contact with the 48 of McKinney. So Seth Fraser, he had made his way back into the top 10, but now he has to make his way through the field again late. Vernon Margheim has disconnected, so it looks like Margheim is done for the day.
All right, well, Mathew Kingsbury still your leader up front. Ryan Worley in second. Jason Berg third. Garrett Huffines fourth. Dylan Huffines in fifth. 29 laps to go. We're going to step away for a quick break. Don't go away.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
All right, coming back to a green flag here. Kingsbury leading the way, 25 laps to go. Didn't get a chance to see what Ryan Worley has on the restart. We'll see. A couple new contenders up front. Don't look now. Here comes Bergie. Jason Berg in the 21 in third as we go green. And there's the run that we saw out of Kingsbury earlier on the Huffines brothers. And Jason Berg to the inside of Worley. Looks like the 21 might be making a move to the front as he has decided it's go time.
Absolutely a much cleaner restart that time, and it's the 15 and 21 battling side by side into turn number 3. I think Ryan Worley should have a good run here down the front straightaway. Either way, give the advantage to Jason Berg there in the 21 as he clears him.
And don't look now because here comes Garrett
caution.
Huffines. Yellow.
Oh, the 77 of Josh Childress around on the front straightaway. Someone had already gotten up into the wall there. Watching the replay here and just loose off corner number 4. Nobody involved in this one. Single spin. All right. As you said, cautions are breeding cautions here tonight. Greg is getting close to the end of it here. 25 laps to go.
And how about Jason Berg? That fast time started 16th after the invert, got into the top 10, went around after contact with another car, had to fall all the way back, had to work his way through the field again, caught the wall on his way up to the front right around when he broke into the top 10, and now he is going to start outside front row.
Absolutely. It's been quite the adventurous night for him. I still got a little bit of more work to do. Let's catch that 98 of Mathew Kingsbury, who seemed untouchable ever since he got that lead and been stellar on restarts.
And the Huffines brothers doing a good job. Garrett and Dylan both hanging in the top 5 right now. Not sure what happened to Matt Hackathorn there as he fell out of the top 5. He is in position now in that number 44 car. So we'll see how this one unfolds. Closing stages here in the Tough Enough to Race Pink 125, or 150, I should say. Almost said 125. I'm used to 125 lap races when I'm calling these guys race.
Got Jason Berg in here. Greg, why don't you get him?
Hey, Bergie, it's Rent. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Jason, you've had quite the night in that number 21 car. You've been facing the wrong way on the one-way. You caught the wall, and here you are closing stages, familiar territory up near the front. What do you got for that 98 car?
I think I got a shot at it. I don't know. I mean, it's been a pretty hectic race, so I've been trying to save tires at points, and then other points I've been trying to charge. So I think I got something for him, though. We'll give it a shot here.
All right, Jason Berg showing some confidence here. Closing stages of this one. Just a handful of laps to go, and he's in second. Good luck, Jason.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Jason Berg in the number 21 in second right now. Trying to track down Matt Kingsbury in the number 98.
It's going to be quite the interesting battle between those two as we close in towards the checkered flag here tonight. That 98 has been great on restarts and just about untouchable off these restarts. See what that 21 has.
And I'm still kind of curious as to what that number 15 of Ryan Worley has on the restarts. Neither time we've been able to really see what that 15 car has. Remember his move where he split Garrett and Dylan to get both of them. So we'll see what that 15 car, if he can make a run here in the closing stages. Lights are out on the pace car. Justin, we're getting ready to go back green, and it's shootout time here at USA.
Absolutely. It'll be the 98 of Mathew Kingsbury and Jason Berg on the front row. Head out of corner number 2 here. Ryan Worley, Garrett Huffines going to be row number 2, and Dylan Huffines going to be back there in row 3. Your top 5 there. See what this front row has for each other. Waiting on the pace car. Bring it down. And it'll be the 98 in control of this field as we wait for the green flag. Into the restart zone. 98 is off and green flag is out. Another great restart for Mathew Kingsbury. It'll have to be Jason Berg on the offensive.
Boy, Mathew Kingsbury has been nailing these restarts, but the battle's still going for third. Worley having problems clearing the 42 of Huffines. Finally does on the backstretch.
Oh, and contact!
The Huffines brothers!
Oh, man, and that's going to involve a lot of guys. The 5 I see there involved. 48 involved in that one, 82. Man. Take a look what happened.
Boy, Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. I was just going to say that, yeah. It's going to be an awkward Thanksgiving dinner. But here's another look at the replay. This is on board with the 42. Garrett Huffines, and see what happens. 90 or the 7. It was just about there, it looked like, and it almost, again, I think it's another racing incident. 42 almost looked like he came down, but at the same point, go each way there. Here's an on board with the 5. Contact happens just ahead of them. Nowhere he really could have gone there. Oh, and then spins down and gets the 51 again. All right. All right. 98 to Mathew Kingsbury still up front. Jason Berg in second. Ryan Worley third. Andy Fuller in fourth. Sean Breitzman in fifth. 16 laps to go. Going to take a quick break, and then we'll bring you back for the finish. Don't go away. We welcome you back to the USA International Speedway here tonight, the iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. The Tough Enough to Race Pink 150 here tonight, getting set to restart with 12 laps to go, and we take the green. Lights are out on the pace car. Mathew Kingsbury, your leader. Jason Berg, outside row in second. Ryan Worley in third. Andy Fuller fourth, and Sean Breitzman in fifth on the back straightaway here. Greg, why don't you lead him down to green?
Field in the hands of Matt Kingsbury. You heard right there, the top 5 getting set to duke it out for 12 laps. And we still have about 20 cars on the lead lap still after it's all said and done. Another great start by Kingsbury there. He has got these restarts timed out perfectly in that number 98 car.
Absolutely. Will not be denied, as Jason Berg going to have some work cut out for him chasing down that 98. The 15 of Ryan Worley looks like he'll have to fight for that third spot with Andy Fuller in the 16 as he gets knocked out of line, and he will take the third spot.
He cleared him. Here comes Sean Breitzman to the inside of Fuller now. Breitzman realizing that it's go time now. He's been hanging out around 10th all day. He just broke into the top 5, and he's starting to make moves in the 4th spot now as Hackathorn gets 5th from Fuller.
Great move there by Hackthorne, followed the 46 in, and the 16 of Andy Fuller going the wrong direction here late in the race. Looks like he'll slot in that 7th spot just ahead of Donovan Stevens, who was involved in that last streak, all the way up to 8th.
And don't look now, because if you hear the great white music, the Jaws theme song, that's because Jason Berg has his sights on Kingsbury. 0.3 of a second separating them inside of 10 laps to go. We'll see if Berg can get up there, the Breitzman, right now.
Absolutely. The 15, that last run, they were 1-2. Couldn't quite reel him in. It was about a second that he pulled it out to. The 98 did. See what Jason Berg can do here as we get closer and closer to that checkered flag dropping here.
Kingsbury doing a good job keeping Berg at bay.
Oh, someone in the wall. Oh, and the two of goes around on the front straightaway of Seth Fraser. No caution. See if the two get stopped. If we'll throw one, we will not. We keep racing.
Tough break for Seth Fraser in the number 2. Up front, though, still, it's Kingsbury, Berg, Worley, Brightsman, Hackathorn, your top 5. No change in the top 5 as they ride single file. Berg cooling his tires for one final shot.
Absolutely. Once again, they're racing on the same tires they started with, so they're going to have to make them worth here as we take 6 laps to go this time by. What does Jason Berg have for him as we get closer and closer?
No change in the gap, still 0.4 of a second between Kingsbury and Berg. Good battle going on for the 3rd spot right now between Worley, Brightsman, and Hackathorn, taking a peek to the outside of Brightsman, getting right up, getting his nose up his tailpipe, but he keeps it pointed straight.
Matt Hackathorn really trying to get that 4th spot away from the 46, riding on board with the 44, Matt Hackathorn. But here's a good run by the 46. He's going to try and get to the inside of Ryan Worley. He gets there. Can he complete the pass off corner number 2? Gets pinched down there a little bit. It's going to be tight exiting.
Did a great job not to slide up into the 15 as he bobbled just a hair going through the apex of that turn. Did a great job not to get into the 15. But they stay side by side. He's got some damage on that 46 as well.
Gonna try and get in there once again in the corner number 2. Will be just about even. Has to get off the throttle on corner exit. He'll fall back to 4th as we come to the front. Coming to 2 laps to go. Mathew Kingsbury has control of this race. Jason Berg trying to close in.
And Kingsbury hanging tough still, about 0.5 of a second, half a second between Kingsbury and Berg. Boy, Mathew Kingsbury decided go time was the perfect time, it would appear, as he got around both Huffines brothers to get to the front, and he has stayed there ever since. White flag.
If Jason Berg has anything left, he's going to have to do it now on this white flag lap, the 21. Really motored into turns 1 and 2. Corner exit, he's going to have to do it here in 3 and 4 if he has anything left. Going to throw it in there. It will stick, won't be close enough. Off corner number 4, it'll be the 98 of Mathew Kingsbury. He takes the checkered flag here at the USA International Speedway.
So Mathew Kingsbury getting the win here at USA International, the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150 season opener for the iRacing.com Northwest Tour. And it's Kingsbury taking the opening night here for the iRacing.com Northwest Tour. What an effort by him.
Absolutely. Jason Berg was twirled around the field multiple times here tonight, but an amazing effort comes back for a 2nd place finish, and Mathew Kingsbury just lights out on those restarts as these guys get lined up.
Our top 3 coming to a stop here on the front stretch. Mathew Kingsbury qualified in the 8th spot, started 8th in the race and worked his way up with some good timing. He takes home the win.
All right, look like they got those pictures done and should see the leader. Oh, not going to burn it down. Oh, that's true. Yep, they got to get the tire results, so gonna have to get that done, get that all official. What a great race we saw there with Mathew Kingsbury. Once he got that lead, would not surrender it.
Yeah, great job. Looks like we are bringing up our podium to catch up with them. Boy, what an effort by Mathew Kingsbury.
Absolutely. We got Ryan Worley in here. Greg, why don't you catch up with him?
All right, Ryan Worley coming home in 3rd, got up as high as 2nd. Didn't really get a chance to see what you have for the 98 of Kingsbury, but tell us about that move about midway through the race when you took out both Huffines brothers in one shot. Great pass.
Thank you. Yeah, I timed that move good, got a run on the exit, and I realized I had a run on the other half lines in front of me, and I just decided, I think I got a shot at the inside, so I just stuck it in there.
And then you held off Sean Brightsman there in the closing stages to hold on to that podium spot. Great job, Ryan, and looking good for a start of the year here at USA.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that finish. I didn't know where I was going to end up running with these guys. I've ran last year kind of sporadically and kind of always about a mid-pack guy, but got new equipment for this year, and it's really been working good for me, so.
All right, that's third place. Ryan Worley starting the year off with a podium.
All right, we got second place Jason Berg in here. Jason, you got a copy?
Yep.
All right, well, got spun around a little earlier in the race, but definitely had your work cut out for it, and you made it all the way up to second, just about got to the 98 there. What more did you need?
Probably a few more laps. I was starting to kind of eat into him a little bit. I was just inching up on him here and there, but I was watching the relative, and it was staying about the same. But then the last 3 laps, I closed up on him a couple tenths. But yeah, I think just maybe 10 more laps, I might have been able to get to him. But he did a good job.
Talked about it a little bit for that, an eventful night for you. Why don't you kind of walk us through it? Got turned around at one point through the night and had to go from the back to the front.
Yeah, I accidentally got into the back of Fraser. The inside line kind of checked up, and I just didn't react quick enough, and I bumped into him, and so kind of went down on the apron and lost a bunch of spots, and then I burned up my tires pretty good trying to come back. I was working the outside quite a bit, and just driving a little bit harder than I needed to. I think if that wouldn't have happened, I think the outcome might have been a little bit different, but I'm happy with second. Everybody did a good job.
All right, an amazing effort for you here tonight. Anybody you have to thank before we let you go?
First and foremost, Seth and BJ. They put a lot of work into this, I know, and Greg coming on for the announcing. It's pretty cool because he knows a lot of the local guys, so it's cool to see them working together on this. And then sponsor GeForce Aerial Media, my dad's company. So if you guys need aerial photography, check him out.
All right, that's Jason Burr. Comes home second place here tonight. Greg is caught up with the race winner.
And Mathew Kingsbury, ladies and gentlemen, gets the lead a little bit past halfway and holds on in style. And Mathew, you were dang near untouchable on those restarts. Mathew, tell us about those restarts, man. You were on fire on those things.
Yeah, I feel like I don't do anything too special there. Just I don't like the early starts in the center of the corner. I feel like it's hard to clear the guy next to you, and just bring him down in second gear. And once we kind of take off there, it seems like nobody could stay with me for some reason, but I'll take it.
All right, man. Starting the year off in style with a big win. Started in the middle of the cars that were locked in, 8th, worked your way up, and got the win in pretty convincing fashion. Do you like your chances heading into the next race here to go 2 for 2, possibly?
Yeah, I just enjoy this series, the super late models, and anything short tracks is kind of up my alley. So looking forward to the season, and appreciate all that the guys have done to put this together. It's been a lot of fun so far.
All right, Mathew Kingsbury taking them to win. Matt, who do you want to thank?
Man, just thank my wife for letting me do it. So, that's about it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's your winner, Mathew Kingsbury. Justin, 1 race in the books, and we're off to a pretty good start here in the Northwest Tour.
I think before we go here, I think we were brought in 2 more guys. Looks like 4th and 5th finishing positions. The 46th of Sean Brightsman. You got a copy?
Got you loud and clear.
All right, well, pretty solid race for you here tonight. Kind of inside the top 10 for most of the night. Why don't you walk us through it a little bit?
Yeah, overall, just a great night. Started there about 12th, I think, actually, after the invert, and just kind of methodically worked the way up and let some wrecks happen in front of me and tried to avoid them and moved up on each restart.
Absolutely, yeah, just solid all night, and looked like you had a shot there for 3rd. What more did you need to get by that 15?
More right rear tire. Didn't save enough there on the whole runs before that, and the bottom line just couldn't couldn't get the grip off on throttle exit. So.
All right, solid top 5 for you though here tonight. Who do you have to thank for that effort?
I just got to thank Walls Beard Co., Virtual Racing Network, Wicked Chassis Racing, and that's actually it.
All right, well, congrats on the P4 here tonight. A solid top 5, and wish you the best of luck next week, Sean.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, and Greg, before we go, I believe you've caught up with your buddy Matt Hackathorn here.
Yeah, Matt Hackathorn coming home in 5th after an up and down night, and Matt, solid night rammer, coming home with a 5th place after kind of being all over the charts here in the early stages of that one.
Yeah, just the first race, getting used to everyone. I mean, I'm used to our other side of 3 wide, the actual league. I'm not really used to racing these guys, so it was really scary. That invert's awesome, but it's really scary. I hope next time we do a little bit tinier one. I think that'll help the racing. But that was a blast, man. I've never had so much fun because, I mean, no matter what I did, I always had someone to race. It was really close at the end. I thought the tires were going to come in to be a way bigger play, but the car got better. I actually ran my fastest lap, the first lap after the last restart. So if that has any consolation about it.
Yeah, solid up and down night. Great competition. And Matt, like you mentioned, you racing not just this league, you racing the actual 3 wide race league. Tell us a little bit about that. When's your next race in that?
Tomorrow night is Phoenix, also streamed here on 3 Wide TV. It's going to be a good race. It's right before, it's actually our last race before Homestead, so if you want to see some drama, that's probably a good thing to check in and check out.
All right, we'll be same time tomorrow. We'll be sure to check that one out. Hackathorn, top 5, getting some momentum heading into Phoenix tomorrow. Who do you want to thank?
I want to thank everybody involved in getting this together. I mean, I've been super stoked about it since it was announced. I love racing against all these guys. It's cool racing against people that you know. We had a really lot of fun, man. I had fun racing against Sean. I had fun racing against Jason. I mean, everybody put up a good fight. Once we get to the top 8, that was a really good time. I'm really sorry for getting into Garrett on that one restart. I saw the bumper drop and I goosed it, and I guess he wasn't going as hard as I thought he was. I did not mean to do that, but otherwise, man, the racing was awesome. It was a great time. I cannot wait for next race. I cannot remember where it's at, but it's going to be a blast.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing you back here at the next race. Matt Hackathorn with the top 5. Justin, race 1 in the books.
Yes, sir, and what a race it was. For the most part, it seemed like once the leader got going, nobody could really quite get to him, but saw it change hands a couple times, and Mathew Kingsbury was the final holder of that leader and didn't let it go from Jason Berg, who came home second.
Yeah, great race by both Kingsbury and Berg. Great job by Berg to overcome all that adversity. Kingsbury using patience and getting the timing perfect to get past both Huffines brothers, who dominated the early stages. This is just race 1. This is just a sample of what we're going to see throughout the rest of the season.
Absolutely, and we look forward to more of it next week as we take through the race results here tonight. Mathew Kingsbury takes home the win. Jason Berg comes home second, and Ryan Worley closes out your podium there in third. Sean Brightsman in fourth. Matt Hackathorn rounds out the top 5. Scott Mann comes home 6th. Andy Fuller in 7th. Donovan Stevens in 8th. A great rebound for him. Involved in a few incidents here tonight. James Paulson 9th. And Garrett Huffines, an early leader, comes home with the top 10.
That's your top 10 from the first night here in the iRacing.com Northwest Tour. Justin, take us through the rest of the finishing order.
All right. Yeah, Daniel Masters comes home in 11th here tonight. Travis McKinney in 12th. Bruce Weaver in 13th. Full name Bruce Lee Weaver, by the way. That's an amazing name. Yeah, and Josh Childress comes home in 14th. Bart Hector Jr. 15th. Christopher Heim in 16th. Dylan Huffines in 17th. Seth Fraser 18th. Todd Connell in 19th. And Chris Walters comes home in 20th. My score was showing 220 or 19th for whatever reason. And then we have Vernon Margheim in 21st here tonight. I'm going to keep messing up that name until I get it right. William Weber in 23rd, and Devin Petty in 24th.
That's your race results, and ladies and gentlemen, first race in the books for the iRacing.com Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. We look forward to catching you guys right back here in 2 weeks for the next race. And Justin, this is going to be a fun year.
Absolutely. I was really looking forward to it. I love these short track events, wanted to race more of them, and I'm glad we're up here in the booth getting to watch a lot more exciting action as we get later into the season, I imagine. So looking forward to the next one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it here at USA International Raceway for the Tough Enough to Race Pink 150. Mathew Kingsbury taking home the win here tonight with Jason Berg and Ryan Worley rounding out the top three. For Justin Kolb, I'm Greg Rentz. Thanks for tuning in to 3 Wide TV, and we will see you guys right back here for the next one 2 weeks from tonight. Make sure you tune in to the 3 Wide TV Racing Series tomorrow night at Phoenix. You can catch Matt Hackathorn, who was just in this race, in that one. We'll see you guys here later on. Good luck and have a good night.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.